Hello and welcome to my monthly trophy update for February 2023. Now let's head straight over to PSN Profiles. And here's my PSN Profile, guys. One of the key stats that I love to go over is my completion percentage. You can see that I've got a full 1% increase from last month. And that is steadily going towards my overall year goal of 70% completion. You can see also the platinums themselves have increased quite a bit, and we'll be going over that today, guys. Now, let's head over to the trophy log. And we're now here on the trophy log, guys. You can see here, we're on page 2, and we're going to scroll down to where we last left off, which was good against remotes is one thing. Get a perfect score at the firing range on any difficulty, and that was for the game Borderlands 3. Now, with Borderlands, you can see that I've got a good chunk of the trophies here, and if I just scroll up briefly, I did eventually get the Platinum Trophy. Now, there is a bit of a story with this game. Me and Serena really like to play co-op games, more specifically couch co-op games. We really like playing Borderlands couch co-op, and I had actually bought this game so that we could both play together and basically get the platinum together. I just thought that would be really nice just to fully complete a Borderlands game with her. Now, here's the kicker though. If you try to play this game couch co-op on PS4, I don't even know if it's a problem on PS5, but PS4 version couch co-op is completely unplayable. For whatever reason, every time you enter a menu or basically do anything in the game freezes for like a full second. So it means if one person pauses or like goes into their inventory, the other person is frozen for a second. The frame rate was atrocious. There was just constant lag. That I felt like that there was input lag as well when I was firing. So many issues at the first hour in the game. And then we met Ellie as just part of the story, literally like the first hour of the game. And before the cutscene played, hard crash. So we weren't even enjoying the couch co-op in that hour, and when that hard crash happened, we both agreed, yeah, this should be played solo, which was a massive, massive disappointment, guys. All of the other Borderlands games that we have played has not had this issue. Maybe they've had slight issues, maybe the slightest slowdown, but Borderlands 3 is completely unplayable in couch co-op. So public service announcement for that. And I think that just kind of gives you an overall picture of how me and Serena enjoyed this game. Not very much so. Yeah, Borderlands 3, it has a lot of issues when you compare it to the previous Borderlands games, because Borderlands in general, it was kind of like a lightning in a bottle, especially Borderlands 2. And we both really enjoy the Borderlands franchise just from those games. So specifically Borderlands 2 and for myself, Borderlands 1. And comparing those games to this game should be the clear better product and the better experience, because they've got so much development experience with Borderlands. It really should be refined. And this game, I would describe it as a chore, to be honest. This game was on my profile because we had borrowed the game from a friend. We completed it and we thought, right, that was fine, But we had only played it solo because I only had one controller at the time, and then we eventually got two controllers, and we thought, right, let's go back to Borderlands 3. Maybe it might be better in couch co-op. Again, you already know, for us at least, it was completely unplayable. Everything else, kind of like the writing is the big one, man. The writing in this game is atrocious, not funny. It is actually not a funny game. It's meant to be a funny game. They just shout a lot. They shout. The things that they say is just not funny. They expect you to laugh, but we didn't. It was such a weird feeling, because this franchise is close to us. We really like this franchise, but this one was just a massive fall from grace. And it's to the point now that I wouldn't buy another Borderlands game in good faith. It was that bad. If you think that I'm going to play the season, get the season passes and the DLC for this game, you will be massively mistaken. I am not going to pay another penny for this game. Even like Wonderlands, like I'm just not interested whatsoever. That ship has sailed, unfortunately. But I did do the platinum. Me and Serena, did go over the game because we just felt there could be something here, that there could be like a really cool side story, side quest, something to get us kind of excited. And Serena had went away for a period of time, and I decided to basically do kind of the kind of like the more quote boring stuff. So specifically from the slaughterhouse stuff, because that's just like a glorified horde mode, like wave-based mode. I did the level 50, all of that kind of stuff. I did the collectibles as well, the named locations. Some of the named locations were really weird because I had visited that area, but for whatever reason it just didn't clock in that I had been to that area. I had to go to a specific point in that area for it to say, hey, you've discovered it. So yeah, that happened a couple of times, and I've never had a problem with the named locations in any of the other games, so that was really strange. Level 50, yeah, that was just from basically, playing the game. Deciphering all of the, Iridian slabs, collectible, grinding. At least with Borderlands 3, there's no challenger trophy. So compared to the other Borderlands game, the other games from Borderlands, it's not as grindy. It's still a little bit grindy, but not as grindy, because the challenger trophies are a massive grind. If you've ever tried to go for those trophies, you know what I mean. So, because I've already done that with Borderlands, the pre-sequel, that was a massive grind. So, and it wasn't very enjoyable. I don't even mind a grind generally, but, it was just not fun. And I did the targets of opportunity, the legendary hunts. I did all of the side missions, all of that kind of stuff, and then I just needed a second controller for these ones here. I was really surprised that I didn't get this one. Revive another player. Yeah, Serena must be just that good that she just doesn't die. I died all the time, but yeah. So I did that with the second controller. Win a duel, revive another player, and then boom, unlock all Borderlands 3 trophies, and I managed to get the platinum there. Yeah, overall, would not recommend this game, especially if you're going to try and do couch co-op. It is literally unplayable. Expect hard crashes, everything under the sun, poor performance, all of that kind of stuff. And even so, solo, it's just not as good as the other Borderlands games. Maybe if you could do online co-op, maybe that would be salvaged. I don't know though, because like the base game is just not great. I am not paying more money to get the DLC if the base game itself was just that bad. A real sour taste in my mouth after playing this game. I did get the platinum and I thought I really did think that I would grow to like the game at least. I didn't. So I put myself through that so that you don't have to put yourself through that, okay? So, yes, I would not recommend Borderlands 3 in good faith, guys. Please avoid. Play Borderlands 2, even play the pre-sequel. People say that that's, not as good as the other games, which I do agree, but it's better than this. Such a cataclysmic fall from grace. Honestly, I can't stress that enough, guys. Please don't play. Please don't play, and please don't buy this game. This is a hype one. Cities Skylines Platinum. More specifically, 1001 Nights. If you've been following the channel, this was the one trophy we needed for the Platinum for Cities Skylines. This is basically Serena's platinum, by the way. She's done every single trophy for this game except for this one, but she was working towards it. She had been playing more and more and more to get the 1001 Nights trophy, and then she took a little bit of a break from it. Then she came back, so it was like kind of like a back and forth. And while she was away, I had been, playing the game for a little bit, maybe having like a cheeky, like leaving it on like throughout the day, just because I had the PS4 here on my desk and, I was working on university stuff. So I was like, right, might as well have this running, in the background. I had just completed the Borderlands 3 Platinum. So I thought, right, let's try and get another Platinum going. And thankfully, the trophy popped. 1001 Nights is no joke because City Skylines operates on a slightly different day-night cycle. Nights don't happen every day. Just think of it like a night happens every like maybe 1.5 weeks or 2 weeks in game time. So it takes a long time. We had started the game on the day cycle, so we weren't experiencing nights. Because when we were initially playing the game, we weren't going for the platinum. I wasn't even a trophy hunter at the time, so we were just playing the game casually. We really enjoyed it, and then when we returned to the game, we decided, yeah, let's try and go for this platinum. It's an ultra rare, and yeah, it's an ultra rare for a reason. There's some trophies that I've already covered in other updates that are quite difficult, and no, but this was basically Serena's platinum, yeah. So you have to give her credit for that. Next, we've got another game here, Cuphead. Cuphead, guys. Yeah, this game is brutal. I started playing this game, it must have been a couple of years ago, and then I stopped playing just because I was playing different games, and that's my life story. And this was on my backlog for a long time. I've always wanted to complete it. I completed it, and I decided to go for the platinum. Now, for the games that I've actually covered these games are part of the difficulty challenge that I'm doing this year. So it's on PSN Profiles, it's a community event, and you're expected to platinum a game from each difficulty rating. So because the difficulty ratings are out of 10, you're expected to do a game for each rating. So 1 through 10, a total of 10 games, and those games have to be at that difficulty rating, right? So I'm pretty sure if I just go quickly on to Cuphead, I'm fairly certain this is an 8 out of 10. Yeah, you can see here, 8 out of 10. Yeah, it's no joke. It is difficult. It's a difficult game. And if we just go into the next page here, because those trophies were pretty manageable. We'll just keep on talking about Cuphead. Yeah, so there were some bosses. If you're unfamiliar with Cuphead, you shouldn't be, because it's an amazing game and very popular. But think of it like a glorified boss rush kind of style game. Most of the levels, I would say 80% of the levels, are just bosses, and it's kind of like a mix between a platform shmup, kind of like Contra in a way. There's shmup sections as well when you're in a little plane. the aesthetic, very old-timey cartoons attached with the brutality of games of old. So if that sounds good to you, honestly, this is a great game. It is an 8 out of 10 difficulty, and I would say that's pretty spot on. I wouldn't describe it as a 10 out of 10 game. It is totally doable. This is basically the epitome of an of a trial and error game. So you will eventually get it. When you get basically good enough, you will be able to do it. Trust me. It might take you a couple of tries, tens of tries, but you will manage to do it. And it's really satisfying when you finally beat that pesky boss. Okay, so honestly, it's a really, really good game. You also need to get every coin in the game. You can find coins in the overworld. There's several kind of types of levels and overworlds, and in those overworlds you have levels where there's no main boss, and there's, I think, a total of 5 coins in each level. So you have to collect every coin in every level and every coin from the overworld. So there's NPCs that can give you coins. Sometimes there's coins kind of hidden in like the background of the overworld, and you just need to like explore and find them. Or you can easily look at a guide. Honestly, I won't judge you. But yeah, so that was kind of doable. There was another trophy here. I think this was one of the later ones that I got. Yeah, so Pacifist. Complete all levels, so not the boss levels, but the other ones, without killing an enemy. So when I read that trophy, I thought, wow, you can actually complete these levels without killing a damn thing. Oh my god. So I did it with the first stage, and I thought, right, okay, that is doable. But then with some of the other levels, I thought, how can you do that without killing anyone? Because there are kind of bosses, but they're like sub bosses. But there are actually ways around them to not kill them, and I think that's really smart design. And yeah, so that might take you a few tries to do, but compared to some of the actual bosses, yeah, it's definitely manageable. The one of the bosses from the top of my head was it was the robot, like the scientist robot one. Initially I thought that was really difficult, and yeah, it took me a good amount of tries just to get through the first phase. But when you get a rhythm to it, it does become quite easy. And then the later stage of that boss fight, specifically the big robot, again, it's just keeping calm and dodging the bullets, dodging the energy bullets. You will be fine. But yeah, like what else can I say really about this game? It is a difficult one. You are expected to do A ranks on all of the bosses, and you need to get an S rank on one. I'm pretty sure you can only get S ranks when you beat a boss on expert. You're expected to complete the game and then complete the game on expert, by the way. So you have to play through the game twice and do every boss twice, right? And you need to do one on expert, and I'm pretty sure you can do the other difficulties. I know you can do normal. I was just playing on normal. I can't remember if there was an easy mode. There was an easy mode. But yeah, go for normal. See if you can do it. Go, maybe if you have to go to easy, just play about with it. Play about with it and see what's comfortable for you. But if you're wanting to get that platinum, you are expected to do expert. So just bear that in mind. Yeah, I really liked the casino level as well, because there was because that was more of like a boss rush mode. There was multiple bosses in one boss stage, and I thought that was really cool. And then at the end, you then fight King Dice, and I just thought that was really cool. My first time fighting King Dice, by the way, when I got to the King Dice part, I didn't realize this, but he had actually glitched, because there's a move that he does where he uses his hand and he summons cards, and it's like hand dances like this, when he did that attack second time round, no cards were spawning in. So I just defeated him. I just shot up without dodging the cards, you know? And I have seen other videos with that glitch in. So it is kind of like a semi-common, kind of uncommon glitch. So I was really lucky in my first time with that boss. But the second time round, he hadn't have glitched. You know, on expert mode specifically, he didn't glitch. So, you know, and I still managed to do it. So, you know, good job, me. Yeah. Overall, yeah, this was a difficult game. Yeah, 8 out of 10. I would say that is definitely accurate. It's not like a 9. It's not a 10. It's an 8. It's brutal but fair, and I really respect that from Cuphead. It's a great aesthetic, great gameplay. It plays really well. The music is phenomenal. I think the design is there. You know, level design, all of that kind of stuff. Yeah, it's just a really, really solid game. Strong recommend. I love that game. I think eventually I will get the DLC, but that will be later down the line. I should really take a break from Cuphead. So we've got Borderlands Game of the Year edition here, and that's because of how bad Borderlands 3 was. I bought Borderlands, the first Borderlands, to play with Serena, and this is far, far better than Borderlands 3. We're really enjoying the game so far. I think we're I can't tell if we're like still in the early game. It's been so many years since I played Borderlands. I played Borderlands back on 360, and I really enjoyed that game, completed the game multiple times. One of my favorite games on the system. And yeah, but it's just been so long since I've played the game that I don't know if we're kind of like in the halfway mark or if we're still kind of in the early game. But nevertheless, we are still having a good time with the game. And because it is the Game of the Year edition, I'm sure it does have all of the DLC. And if we manage to platinum the game, I'm sure we will do the DLC as well. So yeah, again, really looking forward to it. This is so much better than the third game. I actually can't believe how much better it is. It's crazy. And it's nice to go back to, basically the game that started it all. Yeah. And you can see that with games like Borderlands 2, for instance, there was definitely a lot of refinement just from that game compared to the first one. Yeah, so Borderlands 2, yeah, people should have that as the top Borderlands game for sure. Here we go. So Final Fantasy VII Remake. This is another game that's part of the difficulty challenge that I'm doing this year. And yeah, this is a really good game. I finished the game casually when it was part of the PS Plus monthly games. And I just thought that was amazing that was part of the monthly games. I was like, wow, what a game to, put as like your monthly game. Like I was just blown away because, this is a system seller of a game. This game is great. It's such a good game. The thing is though, I'm not the biggest fan of Final Fantasy. I had only played Final Fantasy X when I was really young. Then I played Final Fantasy 13, which is a bit, kind of divisive in the community. I don't know if people have kind of softened up to the game since then, but, it was known as like a corridor game. And yeah, so those were like the only Final Fantasies that I was really familiar with. I was familiar with Final Fantasy VII just because on YouTube you can't get away from, people talking about that game, especially back in the day, with the original Final Fantasy VII. People love that game. So I kind of knew what was gonna happen in this game, or so I thought. Yeah, this game, because it's a remake, it's more like a reimagining, and I really respect that. They're taking the Final Fantasy VII in in similar directions, but at certain points in the story, there are massive question marks, and it's going to be more episodic, this remake. So technically, this is only the first part. I don't know how many parts there's going to be, but yeah, this basically just covers the Midgar portion of the game, Final Fantasy VII. So, and there's way more to just Midgar in the original Final Fantasy VII. So yeah, really excited for the next iterations of the Final Fantasy VII remake. And yeah, no, it's a phenomenal game, guys. Really, really good. So I played it casually, completed it casually, and I thought, wow, that was a great game. That was a really, really good game. Now I'm going back and playing the game again, but I've completed the game on hard, and I have just done that literally yesterday. So the 12th of February, I managed to complete all chapters on hard difficulty. Some bosses are pretty difficult. Even some of the enemies on hard, yeah, they were giving me a hard time. And at the very start of the game, so chapter 1, I was still trying to familiarize myself with the game again. And the combat, just going straight into hard mode, I had to learn fast. I had to remember my muscle memory and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, no, but it was definitely well worth it. Yeah, this game is just fantastic. A few things that I have to say. So there's some really specific chapter specific trophies that you need to get. So for instance, like the pull-up challenges, I had to do that with Tifa. The dart mini game as well. Literally, you need to be on top of the leaderboard, which means you have to basically finish a game of darts. I think it's under 8 darts. So yeah, so that was a little bit tricky initially, but as you can see from the rarity here, let me just scroll down here. It's 49%. So it is grand scheme of things, it is pretty easy. But yeah, that took me a good couple of tries to get that. Yeah, so another chapter specific one with Biker Boy get praised by Jesse at the end of the more bike mini game. Yeah, I actually did this on easy, this one, because I did light research on this trophy, and it said that you only get praised when you have over 75% of health remaining. So yeah, so I just did it on easy, got the trophy through that. Yeah, so because I wasn't prepared to do that section on hard, because in my first playthrough I actually struggled on the more bike kind of, I can remember I almost died. Yeah, so I'm garbage. Yeah, so we're now going to building a character, attain level 50 with a character. Yes, because I was going through hard mode, I was getting more XP. I think I started hard mode when I was maybe like level 42 or something like that. Yeah, so 43, 42, something like that. Yeah, so I was naturally getting level ups because I was doing the game again on hard, so that wasn't too bad. Yeah, I missed a few things on my first playthrough. I cannot believe I missed this materia. Yeah, the Chocobo and Moogle materia. Yeah, that's pretty easy. You just kind of need to remember that you need to go back to the fans, with the sun lamps. When you've is it you have to turn them off? Yeah, you have to turn do you have to turn off the sun lamps? So anyway, you have to do something with the sun lamps, and when you're done with that, you need to take a little kind of like platform lift to the big fans, and yeah, you have to do like a timed combat encounter thing. Yeah, I did that on hard, and it was totally fine. And that's when you get the materia. I cannot believe I actually didn't get that on my first playthrough. Yeah, easy. That was definitely easy. 56% of people did it, so it's easy. It's easy. The Johnny related incidents. Now, I want to talk about this one and best in the business, complete all quests. Even if you get all of the side quests done in your first playthrough, which I did, You've still not completed all of the quests. That's so strange to me. So, what you need to do is in specific chapters, you need to do basically certain actions so that it unlocks a different set of quests in a particular chapter. So, for me, I got one set in my first playthrough, and I needed to make sure that I got the other set in my second playthrough. In that other set that I didn't do in my first playthrough, there's a Johnny related incident that happens in one of the quests. So that was just so strange to me. So basically, when this happened, and when I rounded off all of the other quests in that set, that's when I got both of those trophies. Yeah, so just bear that in mind. So even if you've fully completed, the side quests in your first playthrough, you still need to do two more in your second playthrough, which is crazy. But with chapter select, that can be really easy. So don't worry about that. I would recommend a guide because there are just some prerequisites that are a little bit kind of confusing if you just don't know that is like a prerequisite, like because there's certain choices and all of that kind of stuff. I would recommend a guide, definitely 100% with those specifically. Collect all music discs. In my first playthrough, I got most of them, and I think during my second playthrough, I only had to pick up, I want to say maybe like six music discs, and that was spread throughout multiple chapters. So what I basically did was I opened up my notebook and I just kind of dotted down which ones that I was missing and where I could find them, so chapter specific wise. So let's say, for instance, like I needed like music disc whatever, like 12, but it was in chapter 4 or something, stuff like that. So that's how I did that, and that was totally fine. Yeah, I just needed to remember when I was going through my second playthrough to check my notepad just to make sure that in this specific chapter do I need to look for either like weapons, materia, or the music discs, stuff that I was missing. So yeah, that's basically how I did that. Complete all battle intel reports. The only one that I was missing with the battle intel reports was it's the one where you have to master every magic materia, and the magic materia are the green ones. So I had to level up stuff like cleansing, subversion, time, all of those kinds of materia. And as soon as you master all of them, you get another materia, which is like MP, I want to say like MP consumption materia, which kind of refunds a certain percentage of your MP when you use like a spell or something. So, yeah. It's pretty handy. It's pretty handy, that materia. So yeah, so that was the only battle intel that I was missing, and so that's how I managed to get that trophy. Yeah, this one here, this is specifically for it was the combat VR missions, and you can only do certain combat VR ones in hard mode. So basically, whenever I could, that's when I did the combat VRs on hard. Yeah. Now, kind of one thing that I actually missed in my second playthrough was one of the Colosseums with Aerith. Yeah, so I need to go back to that one chapter, do her Colosseum, and then go back to chapter 17 to do the last VR combat mission. And I'm pretty sure I know what combat VR mission that's going to be because it's trophy related. So I think it's specifically defeat Pride and Joy. So yeah, I need to do that. So yep, I still need to do a little bit of cleanup. It shouldn't take too long. There's one notorious trophy that I need to get, and that's the bride. Is it called Bride? Let's just double check. It's specifically with the clothing choices in a certain part of the game. Let's just quickly see. Oh, dressed to the nines. Yes, so it's this one. Dressed to the nines. Obtain all 9 bridal candidate outfits. Yes, it is that one. So I've managed to get 6, and I just need to replay. I need to replay certain chapters again, do certain choices, do certain other bridal stuff, and that'll be completely fine. Completely fine. Maybe a little bit time consuming, but it'll be really easy. Weapon expert, learn all weapon abilities. I missed 3 weapons on my first playthrough. Was it 3? Yeah, so one of them was the bladed staff. You can only get the bladed staff when you use the steel ability on a particular boss. It's the final boss in the train graveyard level. I missed a weapon with Tifa when she falls from that platforming bit. When you're in Shinra HQ, when she lands, you need to go on monkey bars instead of going up the ladder. So yeah, so I missed 2 weapons, and I missed the EKG cannon for Barrett, and that's because you had to, after seeing the mayor for the first time, you have to go back to talk to another person, and if you offer him enough gil, he'll give you the weapon. So yeah, so all of that was noted in my little notepad, little notebook, and yeah, that was totally fine, totally fine. And last but not least, for this monthly update, Hardened Veteran, complete all chapters on hard difficulty. I would recommend playing through the game again, and just bear in mind, I had watched the cutscenes again, so because you could easily play the game casually, and whenever you could on your hard playthrough, you could skip the cutscenes. So I could have done that, but because it had been such a long time since I first played this game, I wanted to rewatch the cutscenes. So yeah, it was basically playing the entire game again, experiencing it almost like for the first time. And yeah, no, it's a great game. Still need to do some cleanup for the platinum, but yes, I'm pretty sure this is going to be a high recommendation from me. So yes, highly recommend. Highly recommend. And that has been my monthly trophy update for February 2023. I hope you guys have enjoyed this one, and I will see you in the next one. Bye bye.